So there are indeed missing pages of Ghana's history, and one of such people who have left out the history books in Ghana are the Ahantas and their contribution to the foundation stone of this great country called Ghana. When I wrote on Atumfor Badubansu II and what he stood for as an African king who opposed slavery greatly, which eventually led to his death, I received some loud applause from Ahantas home and abroad. Now today I am recounting the heroic exploits of John Canoe, C-A-N-O-E, another brave Ahanta ever lived on this planet Earth. He took wars to the Europeans on several occasions and won. He was verily referred to as John Canoe, Johanna Cunny, John Conrad, Johann Cunny, Jean Cunny, January Cunny, and John Conny by the Germans, the Dutch, the French, and other European tribes who invaded Africa, particularly the then Gold Coast, depending on the impression and this great son of Ahanta left on them. During his days, he gave the Europeans, particularly the Dutch and the British, a sour memory about him as he portrayed the black man's superiority as he was constantly fighting them, so he was referred to as the African general by the Europeans. Who is actually this man with varied names as pronounced by the Europeans? There are no available records about his date of birth, but he is known to be a chief from the Ahanta tribe of present-day Ghana. He was a powerful merchant in the then Gold Coast who had his own private army and was an ally of the Brandenburg Prussia. At the time of Brandenburger Gold Coast colony in Axum. He was actually a German train who later turned his back on them to help his Ahanta people who were being captured and sold into slavery at that time. He intercepted several slave ships and freed the captives. Between the 25th of December, 1708 to 1724, he took over Fort Fredericksburg, which had been abandoned by the Brandenburgs, and controlled it against several massive conquest attempts by the Dutch. Every attempt made by the Dutch to take the fort from them failed, as he defeated them on countless occasions. He fired guns and cannons at his fort to send signals to the passing ships as a sign of his preparedness to trade with them. He also did that to dispel enemy ships and also to signal that he is ready on and fully prepared to repress any attack on his fort. As an ally of the Brandenburg Prussia and a broker, he succeeded in directing trade to his post. He was a broker, an African stockbroker. Fort Fredericksburg, to an extent that revenues dwindled greatly at the Dutch forts in Axum, Boutry, and Secondi. At least some 95 ships were recorded to have traded with John Canoe at Fort Fredericksburg when he took over between 1711 and 1713. In 1717, which was the same time that the British was warring against the Yamasee in North America, it's called the War of 1717. The Yamasee Native Americans who look like Ahantas, they destroyed the British colonies in Georgia. So he says, in 1717, so around the same time, we was whipping the British butts all around the globe. The British was getting a colonial ass whooping. The Brandenburg sold its possessions in Gold Coast, including Fort Fredericksburg, to the Dutch without the knowledge of John Canoe. and he was highly displeased with him. Despite his anger with Brandenburg for betraying his trust, he still remained their middleman and kept his grips on Fort Fredericksburg. He led a 2-year war against the Dutch and the British at their bases. Damn. In the course of this, he attacked Fort Metal Cross at Dieskopf, right over there by Bourgeois, which used to be a British trading post, and caused a severe damage to it. His warriors were mainly Ashantis and Wasas, with a complement from his tribe, Ahanta and Nzimas. During the warring years with the European powers, particularly the Dutch and the British, he provided great support for his army and the people of Ahanta and his trade proceeds. In 1712, he again went to war with the British and won. During the warring years with the European powers, particularly the Dutch and the British, he provided great support for his army and people of Ahanta and the trading post. In 1712, he again went to war with the British and won. He was at the time controlling an army of 15,000 men. His army grew up to 20,000 men as he continued his warring expeditions with the foreign powers. This made the Dutch and the British to put constant pressure on Brandenburg to stop trading with him, since he acquired most of his guns from them. So he had guns, so they couldn't mess with him. He was, whoa. In 1724, he withdrew from controlling Fort Fredericksburg. Where's Fort Fredericksburg? Where is Fort? You know Fort Fredericksburg? Where is that at? That's in the west. Yeah, where is that?
Fortisbed. Axim.
And that's in Axim? Yes. Is that Takoradi or a different part?
A different part.
But it's still western region.
Yeah, it's still western.
So Fredericksburg is in a place called Axim. Okay. This made the Dutch and the British put constant pressure on Brandenburg to stop trading with him, since he acquired most of his guns from them. In 1724, he withdrew from controlling Fort Fredericksburg. After 7 years, around the same time, he again went to war with the British, who this time solicited the support of Fanti troops. But this time, see, the Fantis, they had the giant Sable Amenfi. He was a giant for the Fantis. He defeated the Assad. So it says in 1724, he withdrew from the controlling Fort Fredericksburg after 7 years. Around that same time, he again went to war with the British, who this time solicited the support of the Fanti troops. But this time, John Canoe was defeated. Wow. So it took for the British to get the help of the Fantis. If they didn't have the help of the Fantis, they still would have kept losing. You're gonna use our own people to help you. You know what I'm saying? This is how the white man do. They try to divide us and conquer us. I'm go to here and offer them this. I'm gonna give them some guns, and then they gonna help us fight you. That's what they do. We gotta be steadfast and say no. It says wow.
That's what they do. See Mugabe. See the way.
Mugabe. Yeah.
See the way also
they killed him. They say he died of COVID. No, they ain't. No. Wow, man, it's crazy. Tanzania was popping, man. When he says around the same time, he again went to war with the British, who this time solicited the support of the Fanti troops, but this time John Canoe was defeated. When Princess Town was captured, John Canoe vanished. It is believed that he escaped to Kumasi, the capital of the Ashantis, who were his allies, after the British tried to capture him and sell him into slavery. That was the last time the Europeans heard of John Canoe. He was listed as one of the 3 greatest African war heroes and traders or merchants of the 18th century. Gold Coast, presently known as Ghana. John Cabes, and Thomas Iwusi. Sound like he was Iwe. John Iwusi, Thomas Iwusi, were the other two who were also in command of private armies and controlled trade at their pleasure, and were also a piercing thorn in the flesh of European powers who came to Africa to exploit us through trade and slavery. There is still more to John Canoe's story. I will tell you later. Ahanta has a story, and I am saying it, so be proud of yourself if you are one of us. Historians in Ghana have forgotten us, but we have not forgotten ourselves. Wow, that was powerful.